Hello, Internet. Welcome to Only Kinda Everything, and WrestleMania is upon us. Now, we have spent a lot of time talking about the biggest story in WWE, the Bloodline, Cody, Rock, Roman, and perhaps we haven't spent enough time on the fourth guy in that match and what's going to happen post WrestleMania. So today we're going to take a little bit of time and we're going to talk about what I think is going to be going on with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, if you watch my prediction video, I do think that Drew McIntyre is going to win that world title at WrestleMania. I do think both titles are going to be changing hands coming out of WrestleMania. I just think we're going to have a lot of title changes. I think realistically, Gunther and Rhea Ripley are probably the only ones that should retain, at least in my opinion. But, point being, what's next for Drew McIntyre, assuming he does win? I really think his first feud will be Seth chasing that world title. Now, I do think that Drew will likely overcome Seth Rollins. I think Drew has probably up to, if not through SummerSlam, worth of opponents for that world championship. I do think Seth will get a couple months. I think probably following Rollins. And that's the catch to this. Drew is probably going to be a heel. I mean, this character is just phenomenal. I would reckon, depending on what goes on with Sami Zayn, but I think Sami would likely be a good second challenger for the World Heavyweight Champion. They have had their teases in the past where, Sami and Drew have had their conversations about, this isn't the right way, this isn't you, and Drew's like, yeah, this is me. But I don't know if Sami really gets the win there. Because realistically, I think your marquee money match for SummerSlam is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. That I think that it would be foolish to assume that isn't an end goal level match that they're building toward. So hopefully Punk is able to recover and return. Now, that does bring in some other questions, potentially Damian Priest. I think Priest will likely be, his opponent will be Cody. I do think Sami Zayn is going to win Money in the Bank, which ties in to why I don't think it's a big deal that Sami can't beat Drew in their first feud. And I say that because Sami is really good at being this close to getting the job done and just falling a little short, which makes his inevitable win that much better. So I do think we'll probably get to about SummerSlam where we can have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I suppose the question there is, do you want CM Punk as a world champion? I would honestly say no. I would say CM Punk is better as an attraction. He himself sells tickets. I wouldn't necessarily be putting the world title on him, although I can see the arguments for it. It's a good way to not only build lineage to the World Heavyweight Championship, but if Punk's run in WWE does go smoothly, it's going to be one of those, man, I can't believe that he never won a world title on his second run. But you got to take in mind, somebody like Shawn Michaels only won one world title post his original retirement. and that was the Elimination Chamber. And he came close a couple of times, but he never got it. I think that's potentially where Punk might be. Maybe one world title win, but I don't know if it's at Drew McIntyre's expense. Mostly because I really think Sami Zayn ends up cashing in on Drew McIntyre, and that's where he gets his win. Or maybe not Drew. There's potentially a world where Gunther wins the world title and Sami Zayn cashes in and beats Gunther. I'm not against that either. But it's a bit of a quick thought, I guess, because there still is a lot in the air. We don't, technically Drew McIntyre hasn't re-signed with WWE yet, at least not publicly known that he has re-signed, if he has. But he's building the future on TV. You don't think he would be doing that if he's not planning on sticking around. He's probably going to get hopefully a nice contract out of this new character that has clearly gotten over. But as far as Seth Rollins goes, because we're not just going to talk about Drew McIntyre here, I think, like I said, Rollins will chase Drew McIntyre probably at least through Backlash. And then I really think Rollins is going to take some time off. Not that it's a bad thing, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I do think that's something that needs to be kept in mind here. But I think it's good for Seth Rollins to take a month, 2 months away, make people miss him and then come back. But I don't think it makes sense for him to come back and feud with Drew McIntyre. Honestly, I think it would be interesting if he comes back as a heel. And I would say maybe Rollins comes back as, let's have him come back as a face. Rollins can dethrone Gunther. And that's not going to hurt Gunther, because that's definitely losing up, because you're losing to Seth Rollins. So Gunther can start his march toward the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins can hold that belt it doesn't need to be a long time, but that's where your transition to a heel comes in. Rollins, sneaky type character. Then I think what'll probably happen, you'll have a nice up and coming babyface win that Intercontinental title. I know Braun Breaker's on SmackDown, but they're planning on doing the draft anyway. Maybe Braun's on Raw. I admittedly, I don't remember where Braun Breaker is signed, but I would have Braun Breaker beat Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. That gives Braun Breaker a good win. It gives him an established belt, and it gives him a chance to showcase more of what he's capable of doing. Rollins at this point can start and his way back up the picture, where we go back to Sami Zayn, who at this point I would hope is the World Heavyweight Champion, and we can do Rollins versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship at, say, maybe Royal Rumble. But guys, like I said, there's not a lot of meat to this. This is just kind of like, man, I've spent a lot of time talking about Roman, Cody, the bloodline, that I wanted to make sure that I gave my thoughts on the World Heavyweight title, because it is not only a world title, it's not particularly my favorite design of the World Heavyweight title, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and enjoy your WrestleMania Saturday. I will see you guys later when we likely take a couple minutes to talk about the results of WrestleMania Night 1. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Bye!